Okay, welcome, guys. It is, pardon me, it is Thursday night, August 14th, in preparation for Friday. Pardon me. I should clear my throat before I get started, right, Dustin? Okay, in preparation for Friday, August 15th. We are continuing on reading the book Commodity Trader, Viewpoints of a Commodity Trader by Roy W. Longstreet. All right, so his next chapter is fighting a market. We're going to start and just maybe do a couple quick chapters before we get into the rest of the assessment. This is the weekly. You see where we held the support, moving back up above this, kind of wide range 7, or no, I guess it wasn't right. Wide range 7, probably a wide range 4 on the weekly. So we're moving back above that. We'll do a couple chapters here, and then we'll jump into the analysis. All right, fighting a market. Some men are as sure of what they think as others are of what they know. Doc called this week to discuss a problem that all of us have faced at some time. He found himself fighting the market. How many times has each of us, having set out on a course, thought it necessary to continue because we have begun? Somehow our pride or prestige becomes involved. We feel that it is important to seem to be right, whether we are or not. There is great danger in this thinking, especially when we become so blindly convinced of being right that it is difficult for us to recognize that we are wrong, and more important, to admit that we are wrong. When we fight the market, he tends to be run by the market. I'm sorry. When one fights the market, he tends to be run by the market. He no longer trades because he has a good reason, but he trades because he must. Why? To save his pride. This then becomes living proof of the scripture, which says, pride goes before a fall. How many times have I done that? Oh my gosh, guys. It is laughable how many times I've done that. Pride comes before the fall, for sure. When one fights a market, he is using energy and time that can and should be better used to do creative thinking. He becomes a compulsive trader. He no longer is the captain of who is following a well thought out plan. He trades because he must. He has become a victim of his folly. When we are wrong and know it, there is no other way in which we can keep straight with ourselves except by admitting it. I have a side note that I put here. Therefore, it is a great idea to step away after every loss. Breath, breathe, walk, get away from the markets for 15 to 30 minutes or so. It does not matter if the trade ends up playing out or not. Just get away, breathe, take a breath, take a walk, whatever. All right. Ride your horse is the next chapter. In the cavalry, the sergeant's command was ride your horse. Don't let your horse ride you. Bill L. recently took a refresher course in commodity trading with us. While here, he spent weekends at Ranch Roy L. riding horses. I noticed that he picked the slowest nag the first time out. When chided about always bringing up the rear, he commented that he had never yet been thrown from a horse, but it was also obvious that each time out, he picked a horse with a little more spirit. Bill is from the city. His experience in horseback riding helps me understand the advice given by Professor Theodore H. Brown of Harvard when asked how to make money with money in commodity trading. He answered, split your profits right down the middle and never risk more than 50% of them again in the markets. That is the exact same advice that Mark Cook told me. He said, when you make profits, take 50% of those profits out and don't risk them back in the markets. It takes time to learn to be a capitalist. It takes time to increase your knowledge. It takes time to raise the tempo of your disciplined courage. It takes time to train your energy. It takes time to push further away from the boundaries of your stress point. It takes time to learn to ride a better horse. Sometimes profits in commodity trading come in windfalls. When this occurs, it is wise to follow Professor Brown's advice and Bill's practice. Pick a horse that you can ride. limit your trading capital to what you can manage with your knowledge and your disciplined courage, your energies, and your stress point. I have found from experience that if one follows the advice of Professor Brown and the example of Bill, he will go a long way toward solving the age-old problem in speculation. It is easy to make money. The difficulty is in keeping it. It was Confucius who said, when prosperity comes, do not use all of it. All right, we'll continue on the rest of this on Sunday night in preparation for Monday. The next chapter is Stress Point, and the one after that is Running Scared. So looking forward to those. All right, let's jump in here to the analysis. I have on the weekly. Again, I'm just going to reiterate this, guys. We bounced off this, bounced off and found support 1, 2, 3, 4 times on top of this 6260 zone on a weekly basis. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That is a pretty strong springboard. If we obviously break down below that, then there could be more significant windfall to the downside. However, as of right now, the market's not showing that kind of weakness. We're still getting this push up in the slow line, even though we are showing this, fast line divergence start to come in on this the weekly here. All right, the daily, it's crazy that our breadth did end up closing in the negative 1300s. What is this telling us for tomorrow? I don't know yet, but I just think it's kind of crazy. The last 2 days of the breadth, kind of contrary to what the market was showing. We are currently on this 7-day extended period on this wave 6. So I question wave 6. Well, that confirms it. We're up here in day 7 of closes above this 5 SMA. So 7 days closes above the 5 SMA. So we're looking at this extended run on this daily. The 2-period rate of change did flip down today. As you can see here, that does indicate a sell day for tomorrow, just based on the 2-rock. So it does indicate a sell day coming in possibly for tomorrow. I am taking that signal with a little bit of caution because we're coming into Friday, after having this weekly move up here. So far, the week's been fairly good moving above this point. Although we haven't really traveled, we're only 50 points higher basically than the close there. But nevertheless, we are still traveling above that last point there. So anyway, I'm taking this daily signal of a sell signal on the 2-rock with a grain of salt for tomorrow. The LBR, I want to reiterate this here on this LBR that the slow line, we are still positive since we came down here and capitulated in volume and the price here. The slow line moved above, and we are just staying strong on that. This whole ride up, through all the jiggles and wiggles and jiggles here, we're still strong on that. All right, 65,000. Let me pull over the 65,000 tick chart. I do notice that our pushes are starting to get a little bit weaker. So we've had this, these big A, B, C, D, E up to 6,500, and actually we kind of exceeded that 6,500. We pushed all the way up here to the or 6450s. We pushed all the way up to 6,500. Now we've had this pullback, slight push up, pullback, slight push up, pullback. So far, slight push up here. A little smaller pushes here. So, is this a potential waning of strength here? We'll see. I do have on the 60-minute chart here this potential for a box formation. We have a couple times it's touched this low, a couple times it's touched this high here. We do have a potential box range forming. We can see this better in the gap chart. Let me pull the gap chart up over here. On a 15-minute. Yep. So you can see better here on this 15-minute that, we did have a little spike high here. I'm, kind of just counting where most of the price action is, but we did have that spike high there. But we've had this point touched here. That same point is right here on the daily, or the intraday. So this is intraday. We had this point here, tested again here, tested again here. So we do have a potential for a pretty good sized box range, 64, 66 up to, 6,500 basically, 6,500 or 6,496 here, but this is 6,502 was this high here from yesterday intraday. So if we were to extend this box out to yesterday's high, 6,500. Currently, we are trading at this moment, we are trading at a high of 64.98. So we're up 64.98, close to the 6,500, 6,502 zone. So again, potential for a box. I'm also keeping this in mind with the fact that that daily is showing a 2-period rate of change sell signal. So, do we sell the tops of these, buy the bottom of these box? Pretty big range here. But that's something to definitely take into consideration going into a Friday here. All right, 15-minute. Oh yeah, let's go back to this gap chart. My gap chart, by the way, guys, is the .D or the intraday price action. You can see here. Note the LBR. So same thing as shows on the daily. This LBR, we've stayed pretty positive on this slow line. So right now we're still positive on that slow line. So I wanted to make note of that as well on that 60-minute. On my internals, you notice here that on the SPY, we've just again had this continuation of higher lows, higher highs all along the way. Did we dip down below that? Low was 642.68. Today 642.34. So we did dip below it for the first time. So we've had this extended run up of these higher lows. Today actually put in the first little bit of a lower low there. So interesting that we got that first lower low. However, I also did mark up here. It is still a potential to go up to the top of this kind of channeling that's been going on, top, bottom. Are we going to make our way back to the top of this channel or not? So just some interesting things to keep an eye on there. Okay, also on the SPY, you notice that we did not take out yesterday's high, but we started making a new, even though we closed up today, we did close up on the VIX. So is that indicative? We also closed back above this 1470, which was that prior low. So keep an eye on that 1470 level on the VIX. If we're moving back above that, that could bode for a move down in the SPY and the S&P. So keep an eye on that. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for listening. Let's trade safe. It's a Friday. Secure your profits of the week. Don't trade scared, but definitely be wise about where we are at the end of the week. Coming into this, let's just continue to help each other grow and be profitable. All right, we'll talk again soon.